Welcome and welcome to the present. Yes, I'm going to recite my anthem. If you're joining for the first time, like the video, subscribe. If you're yet to subscribe, do me that honor and make sure you turn on your notification bell. Yeah, we'll play Chelsea in the next few days. So let's talk about one of their defenders who supposedly was supposed to be missing for the next 10 days. According to Fabrizio, the last few minutes is back on the grass training. Congratulations to ReeceJames. Yeah, he's back on the grass training. According to the English fans and English media, is one of the world's best right fullback in the game, which is absolute nonsensical. I get it. He had a good form a few years ago. I think 3 years ago or 2 years ago, he had a good season, had a good form. But unfortunately, I say this without being sinister or cynical. Unfortunately, his career so far has been blighted with tons of injuries, scores of injuries, deluge of injuries. He can't stay fit. If ReeceJames wasn't English, do you think the benevolence showed by the fans, Chelsea fans, opposition fans, especially the English fans, do you think you have the same benevolence and patience if he wasn't English? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think fans will be so magnanimous and benevolent to ReeceJames if it wasn't English? Now, let's go back to the conversation that ReeceJames is one of the best right back. Based on what metric? One decent and half season makes him the best right back? Like those days when we to watch, I've watched football for a long time. You need to do it at least for 5 years. We need to see you do it till you're 28, 29, 30. ReeceJames is barely 24. Meaning he hasn't even gone to his prime. He has been blighted with injuries, but yet he's one of the best right backs. I thought the conversation was that for you to be considered one of the best, availability is very, very important. So we can see you consistently do it and perform at a high level. So there's not a small sample size. There's enough numbers in terms of statistics, in terms of appearances for us to judge you by. This guy can barely play 20 games per season, but is one of the best right backs. Based on what metric? Because it's English and because the English media is so powerful. I'm not going to dispute the fact that the English Premiership is the most competitive league in the world. Check. Commercially viable, the best commercially viable league in the world. Check. But the quality is not only made of English players. There are other players from other countries that make it the solid league it is that we watch and enjoy every weekend. Beamed around the world, we watch it. But they rate the English press, their content creators, English, their pundits overrate this player. See, I've seen this kind of hype on likes of Theo Walcott, who was an Arsenal player. Remember Francis Jeffers? That's not signed a few years ago from Everton that flopped. I've seen it. What's his name? The midfielder at Spurs, Dele Ali. These are good players. I would never dispute the fact that ReeceJames is a good player. But don't tell me ReeceJames is world class. Based on what metric? A few nice games. I remember the conversation about Trent. Oh, it's world class, but defensively needs to work hard. Are you serious? See, I've seen players like Cafu who did it for over 6-7 years consistently at a high level. I've seen players like Roberto Carlos who did it consistently at a high level for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I've seen Zanetti who did it to their twilight of their career consistently. But you're going to tell me an English player who is still 24, whose last 2 years has been blighted with injuries upon injuries, that is one of the best right back in the world. This is insane. This is insane. This is insanity. That you're going to force a narrative, a propaganda down our throat because you have the media present. So shout out to the English media. They have the presence, they have the tools, they have the finances to push what I term as propaganda and lie sometimes because it is not true. ReeceJames, in my opinion, this is subjective. He is not better than Ben White. Ben White has been consistent for the last 2 seasons. Was moved from his right center half to right back and has been performing. But ReeceJames, who for the last 2 years has been blighted with all kinds of injuries, is still a better right back. Make it make sense. Based on what metric? He's not even playing enough games, but he's a better right back because Southgate has his own personal nepotism. So we have to infuse that. That's not making no sense. Trent, yes, 2 or 3 years ago, he helped Liverpool win the league. He had a purple patch. He had a good season, right? It happens. Even the worst players can have a good season, but it doesn't make them the best. For you to be the best, you need to show it across a timeline of at least 5 years consistently at a high level. But these days, anybody can turn up their camera, put a mic, and waffle nonsense, provided you have some number of subscribers, or you're a former player, or you work for TalkSport, or Sky Sport, or BT, provided you're English media pushing, you can waffle nonsense, and we have to swallow it and believe it because we watch English Premiership I love watching the Premiership, but what I don't like, the lies and propaganda, the hyperbole is getting ridiculous. I don't hate ReeceJames. No, I don't. I pray he plays at the weekend against us, and Martinelli can send him back. This is not me being cynical. We know ReeceJames cannot play 5 games straight without returning back to the treatment table. I'm not being cynical. It's just what it is for the past 2 years. Because if it was Partey, we all priced it in that Partey is going to get injured. As Arsenal fans, we are aware of that Partey cannot play 10 straight games. We've seen it for the last 3 seasons, right? And we've seen with ReeceJames, he can't play 5 to 10 games consistently without breaking down. It is what it is. So if by that logic, people say, oh, Rodri is a better player because of availability and consistency, we're saying, but you don't use that logic on ReeceJames because it's English, because he has the media backing. Absolute nonsense, right? The English fans are not the only fans in the world. There are other nationalities that watch and pay handsomely to watch the English Premiership. We have our opinions too. We're not all silly. We are not all silly. ReeceJames is a good player. I will never dispute that, but he's not world class. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section. Show me the metric based on what? Someone that is not even available to prove that he's world class. So you want to judge him based on the limited amount of appearances he made over people who are making 36, 38 appearances. You are insane. You are insane. I saw it with your Walcott, Gareth Barry, Gabriel Bolao. These players at 22 to 23 were touted to be world beaters. As we saw how they diffused and fizzled out like a bad fat. So I've seen this movie play too many times. Let me give you an example of how you measure world class. Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Zanetti, they had an extensive performance at a high level for at least 5 years. But those players I just mentioned, Cafu, Zanetti, right? Roberto Carlos, they had 10 solid years of performance at a high level, not 1 season or 2 seasons. Then have the media embellish their career, push them up. Absolute waffle and nonsense. No, I will never subscribe to that. ReeceJames is a world class. Is he a decent player? Sure. World class, absolute bollocks. Hopefully he's fit enough to play against Martinelli on Saturday. I'm waiting to see him. Is that great? I'm going to see how great he is. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but let's tone it down. He is not world class. Like, share, and subscribe. Very, very important. Drop your comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this topic of ReeceJames being world class, and what do you think his performance against Martinelli at the weekend will be. Let me know in the comment section. Once again, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.